Let's start 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
This is a dangerous group, the groups that we're dealing with now.
I would like to introduce. Taking you to the higher state. None of them knew they were robots. Transmission. Come and have a go. You think you are enough.
Let my soul fly free.
Hi, we're back.
Hi.
Don't get used to this. We're not doing every day forever and a day.
Oh, hell no. But as we had issues yesterday,
We're back to do the full. I know it's confusing, eh? The full 46-minute video of "Do You See Me Yet" from Ali Carter that we had issues with in the middle of the stream yesterday. So we're basically going to play that through and take it from there.
hang out with you guys in chat while we watch it.
Yep. Just briefly while we're here, top right-hand corner, you may notice I have a new logo and a new picture. Ta-da! I want to say thank you. Thank you very, very much to Mad Aussie for doing that up for me in the last, 24 hours. You're a legend, mate. And
absolutely. And I think it suits you perfectly.
Thank you. I'm Technicolor. I am Technicolor, I suppose. I come in built high vis.
Shows your prowess in all the right ways.
No, thank you, Mad. I really, really do appreciate it, mate. It's Mandy's just said the same thing. It just suits it perfectly. So, bless. You're an absolute superstar. You're a gem.
100%.
Yeah. Cool. Shall we?
Hang on. That's going to go up.
Telling the sasses out there, you couldn't help but feel it.
Hey, Wanda, good to have you joining us.
Hey, Wanda, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so we're just going to share this video out, and we'll be in chat with you guys, and we'll pop back in at the end of it, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
My name is Allison Leilani Carter. I'm 28 years old, and this is the truth about all of us.
My name now is Allison Leilani Carter, but my former name was Tori Outlaw, and Tori's dead now.
Before anybody knew the truth, I blended well. I was a competitive dance teacher, a cheer coach, a special needs dance teacher, a mentor, a college student, and so much more.
Thank you, Ellie, on three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Ellie. You're welcome.
I love what I do. I teach babies from 18 months. I teach adults to dance, to have fun. Dance to me has always been a therapy and a release because it was always something evil for me. So I turned it around, and I love to watch someone just get something and ace something that they thought they never could do, or be someone they thought they never could be just for an hour. I taught special needs kids. I don't believe that a disability defines you. So to me, I just think it's an extra source of intelligence, something that people just need to have patience with. And I miss them so much. I was a cheer coach, and everyone that was in my eyesight is one of my babies. Even if they were older, they were my baby. I can't have kids myself because of everything that has happened. So everyone that walked in my classroom, even for a second, was like my child. I miss it. School was always hard. So I was this close to graduating again with my AA degree in college.
I went to a community college for like 10 years. So when y'all met us, I was still in chemistry class. A lot of y'all met us in CPR class. And so that's where 90s and 10s comes from, because there's 100% of the world that knows that something's wrong, but there's 90% that would rather not stick their heads back in the sand. They're actually doing the research. They're trying to figure it out. They're the ones being called conspiracy theorists, but they're the ones saving your lives. But the 10s, it's an easier way to say asshole. 10s are the ones who decide to stick their heads back in the sand. 50s ain't nifty, and that's the ones who have feet on both sides. And 70s are trying to learn. I know that doesn't make sense, but it was just because I was stuck in chemistry class and it was a lot going on at the same time. A lot of you guys seen that on Lonnie's Truth when someone walked into tried to come into our rental, and I was taking my chemistry test and I failed with those last two questions because of that. School has been hell. During foster care, I was going to RCC for a little bit, and someone had within the school had mixed my units with another foster kids unit. So I was taking her classes that I was needed to graduate, and she was taking mine. I've gotten threats at the school. I was going to Norco College for a little bit, which was Norco Community College in California, which was down the street from one of my ex-pimps, the whole family. And so one day I was going to math class, which is why I ended up taking math so many times, because I was going to math class. I mean, the school knew I was a part of the Disabled Student Services with my PTSD and the things that I've been through in trafficking. So the school knew about things, but when I started getting threats in the bathroom at the schools, and the security couldn't do much because it's a public school. So then I was never alone. So school has always been really, really hard, but I've always loved to go. And I mean, we're really good at it. I mean, it depends on who's taking class. That's the thing, because DID problems as well with school. Like, one of us could take the class and the other one could do the homework. And then if I tried to go take one of their classes, it won't work because I don't know what's going on. And it's a lot. school was a lot, and I'd give anything to be able to just go back and just to go peacefully. School is not the issue in general. We do great in school. Mom helps us with that, and we do great in school. We smart, huh?
Pretty smart.
I'm really smart. But it's always the threats and the problems and the things that happen at school. I had this one professor who told me to call him God because he knew about my record, and because I wouldn't call him God, then he was really upset. It was a teacher that wasn't even from the country, so he didn't have any respect for Americans, especially black girls. It was just the whole thing. So he embarrassed me in front of the whole class because I said something. And then my high school teachers, when I went to Carter High School, they made fun of the fact that I was a foster kid, which some of them were some of my clients. It was a lot. School was just a lot. I wish that I could just be at peace at school. Nothing more.
Well, a lot of times they're programmed to have problems in school anyway. That's part of MK Ultra programming. They don't want them to succeed. A lot of things come into play. It's not just, oh, I'm not a good student, or I'm having a hard time. There's like layers upon layers of so many things on top of that.
And on top of that, I've been called illiterate all my life. I've been told that I don't know anything, and I'm supposed to play stupid because you're just not supposed to know anything more than your pimp. You're supposed to just give them that satisfaction all the time. So, nah, I'm really smart.
After I was adopted and after healing a little bit, I became a dance teacher. I was a dancer myself, training all over again, learning what it was like to be normal and to just go into a studio and do something because you wanted to do it until they found me again.
Hi, I'm Allie's mom, Shelly. When Allie was finally placed with me, when CPS finally relented and let her be placed with me, I was seeing a lot of things that I've never seen before. I've worked with a lot of troubled kids, a lot of kids that needed help, a lot of disabled kids, just all different kind of kids, but I never saw the behaviors that I was witnessing with Allie. She would be up all night. She was not able to sleep. She would barricade her door to her room. If somebody slammed the door too hard, if somebody dropped a book, she would jump. Her startle reflex was so exaggerated. I knew something was wrong. I was still trying to piece things together. I knew she had been beaten. I knew there was some sexual abuse. I didn't realize the extent of all the abuse. Didn't know anything about sex trafficking at that time. Didn't know anything about MK Ultra. I did know a little bit about satanic ritual abuse, but I didn't know that was a thing in this situation, and I didn't know how that would even have fit into the situation. I knew about DID, wasn't piecing that together quite yet. I was just seeing a kid with a lot of trauma. When she finally was placed with me, and I started seeing that there was sexual abuse and that there was trauma, I thought that was my green light. I thought God brought her into my life to seek justice for her, meaning to stand with her while we brought down every pedophile that had harmed her. I thought that was what God was wanting me to do at that time. He checked me really fast. That wasn't what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to provide a peaceful home for her, to give her normal experiences, to give her the opportunity to heal. didn't mind doing that, but I really wanted to go after the pedophiles and the people that hurt her. So it took me a minute to be okay with just being at peace with providing her a safe home. I'm like most of you guys, I'm like everybody else. We want justice. We don't like people hurting children, and we want to be part of the justice for that. But that wasn't the avenue God was going to have me go down. With my other kids and with Allie, I did my best to provide a peaceful home for them, to give them normal experiences that they never had. I would take them places like the beach and the park and the fair and Disneyland and places like that. I would push them on the swings. We would just do normal things that most of them missed in their childhood. We would blow bubbles. Just anything to bring normalcy, to teach normalcy, to show what it was to do normal childhood things, to show what it was to live in a peaceful situation. So that became what my focus was for when she first came until now. We still do normal things. I think a couple nights ago we had those little dart things that you shoot in the air, they light up and spin. Just simple things. The simple things bring a lot of healing.
That day was so crazy. I'm a dance teacher, so the election really started to bother me. And I've seen so many of my predators and my abusers on TV and games and at concerts and all kind of things. And this bothered me different. It bothered me different. And I started going to trafficking marches in Los Angeles, California. I never knew they existed. I didn't know what I was doing there. I was abused in Los Angeles. I didn't know people knew about it. It was always something that was a secret. And one day we get down there and the streets are packed. There was signs and bullhorns everywhere. I used to sleep on Skid Row. I used to be homeless at a very young age, 11, 12 years old. I slept on the streets down there. I fought for spots. I ate out of the trash cans. I tried to hide. And one day I just got out of the car because this woman, when I was down there at 11, 12 years old, this lady was so nice to me. Her name was Janae. And, everybody called her the Skid Row Angel. I was hungry. I was assaulted. My clothes are sticky. And she wasn't supposed to take me into the shelter. She wasn't supposed to open the door. She wasn't supposed to give me anything. But she gave me clean sweats and snacks and these little white packets with aluminum foil on the inside. It wasn't what she gave me. It was the fact that she cared. And I would never forget those little gummy packages. So one day I wanted to go back and thank her because she cared about the kids on Skid Row. There are many thousands of kids homeless on Skid Row. It's not just adults. And she knew where the kids were. She took care of the kids. Everybody knew that you could ask Miss Janae for something and she'd give it to you. And one day I just walked up to the shelter and I asked for her. When we went back there, someone told me she was still there. They thought they remembered her. So I went back one day to take her roses and just tell her thank you. But she wasn't there. And I felt like I was going to melt into the ground. After that, I got angry because then it hit me that something wasn't right. It hit me when I started teaching all ages in dance, 18 months to adults, and seeing how small a baby's hands are and how small their ankles are. That's when it hit me. My dancers gave me purpose, but they didn't know they did. And seeing parents care about their kids and wanting to take them to something that just because they wanted to, just for an hour, just because, it was huge to me. So I thought somebody has to do something for the kids on Skid Row. So I went back and I packed backpacks of toiletries and clean sweatpants, brand new sweatpants, coloring books, snacks, washcloths, all kind of things to give to them. And after going back down there and it hitting me in the face at Gladys Park, I was like, okay, I have to say something. I have to say something. My mom has been speaking for 5 or 6 years, but I've been hiding from the truth because I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to talk about it. I'd rather blend because my story is too big. People don't want to understand. It's unfathomable. It's scary. It was for me too. So one day I saw Biden on TV.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true and international effort to pressure. Mobilize true and international effort to pressure.
I saw the election going through. I knew he was going to win. I called it. And it pissed me off. I told my mom he's going to get in. He's going to get in. He's going to ruin everything because every predator, every abuser is connected to him just as much as the Clintons. And I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I was very open about the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. And my mom posted it. And then someone messaged me and said, you don't know that 14-year-old girl. You don't know who she is. You don't know if she's telling you the truth. I lost my shit that day. And I'd tell people it was me.
If you're not new to my Instagram, you have seen me post up something about trafficking and snatch that shit down in the same second because I was too scared to say something. Now I'm just hot. That 14-year-old girl is me. You want to ask me? Anybody want to ask me? Nobody want to ask, huh? Everybody just want to judge? Nobody took a damn second to say, who's the 14-year-old girl? It's me.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs this year. But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain. Yeah, I was I was a little down when I found out I was injured and I had to have surgery again, or with another knee. But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo, we got.
I'm feeling great. I feel nervous, a little bit overwhelmed. I feel a little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. It's good. You guys get good. It's a question. Look great. I feel a little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. You guys.
So was that the great Rick Rubin who was helping produce that with you, Marshall, when you did that? Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit.
No.
Yes, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Sex trafficking is the end result of trauma-based mind control. A lot of you think the sex trafficking is the main thing. It's the end thing. It's the end result. It's what survivors were programmed for. Every MK Ultra survivor has DID. That's just part of the programming. Not everybody that has DID has MK, but everybody that has MK has DID. It might take you a minute to wrap your head around that. It's kind of confusing, but for DID, DID is a safety valve, if you will, that God placed in us when something becomes too much or too unbearable. If you think of a small child, 2 years old, 3 years old, being sexually abused, that's too much information, it's too much trauma, it's too much pain, it's too much mental, emotional pain and trauma. When the mind gets to the point where it can't take anymore, if any more comes into them right then, it would make them just go crazy. So God instilled in us the ability to just break off that piece, and then a new piece of the psyche will come in and take the rest of that trauma from that experience. DID is pretty common. Contrary to popular belief, people that have had any kind of a trauma can have a form of DID. If you've been in a car accident, if you've lost a loved one, the shock to the system, if it's enough that experience or that trauma just caused you to shake uncontrollably, there's probably something going on in the psyche there. Your psyche is moving to protect you. DID can be as simple as daydreaming, kind of zoning out while you're on the freeway. That's mild, to full-blown alters. So it's very common, and if you think about people that have had significant trauma, a lot of people have DID. Most of them are unaware. The MK Ultra is when they kind of weaponize the DID. They've learned how to purposely cause trauma to the body, cause trauma to the child, get their heart rate up enough to where the trauma is overwhelming and they split. During that moment of splitting, they move into program that part, they move into layer in demons and all kind of things. It's government experiments, scientific experiments that they're doing. They're doing it for a purpose. They're doing it on purpose, where DID is more kind of organic. Your house burns down, that's kind of out of your control. You get in a car accident and the shock of that is too much, that's out of your control. MK Ultra is done deliberately by government officials, by scientists. They're doing it on purpose. Sex trafficking is just one of the end results. They use it to create Manchurian type candidates, super soldiers, assassins. They use it for many things. Sex trafficking is just one of those things. In the course of doing all that, they have learned that they can create supernatural things in survivors. They can create supernatural abilities. There's a TV show called Stranger Things that has basically is outlining for you what's been done to the children. Those things are true. There are survivors that have supernatural abilities. There's survivors that can do things like you see on TV, like you see in the movies. That's MK Ultra.
Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body. While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. So today, on behalf of another generation of American leaders and another generation of American citizens, the United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities. When the government does wrong, we have a moral responsibility to admit it. The duty we owe to one another to tell the truth and to protect our fellow citizens from excesses like these is one we can never walk away from.
How I knew that Joe Biden was going to win because of trauma-based mind control programming. Things that were done to me since I was 3 months old. I can do things that normal people can't do because of those things. And the first time that I met Joe Biden was underneath the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, California. I was there for a cock party. I walked through the museum and through a field trip. There were kids, there were adult chaperones, there were parents. And we walked through the museum, through the garden area, and employees led us to underground tunnels. We had to take an elevator and stairs. And by the time that we got there, I noticed the air started changing. It's different, it burns your nose. It makes you choke a little bit because the air is just different after a certain point. There is a different city under the ground. There's different life under the ground. There is a different air supply. There's different everything. There's all means of transportation under the ground. Every means of transportation. There's cities underground. There's warehouses underground. There's actual homes underground. I think people assume that when you get underground, it's just this dirt and you keep going deeper and there's more dirt and then there's cages of children. No, that's not how it works. But on that job, we had to be led. There is no way that you can just walk into a tunnel. The entrances and the exits are in your face, but there's no way that you can just walk through tunnels. You'll get stuck. You'll go deeper and deeper, and you won't be able to come back out because it's hard, because the tunnels run all different directions for miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you go down the wrong one, you'll get stuck, and it's confusing to turn back around and get back to where you're going. So you have to be led in and out. People build these tunnels, and they've built them for decades. There's bodies of victims that are babies, adults, limbs, bloody shrines. There's kids down there that act like animals. There's people who run science experiments on babies. There's baby farms. There's a lot, and elite celebrities. They go down there for parties. They have sick, satanic rituals. I was taken down there for a blowjob with Joe Biden. Not just me. There was another girl that was with me. My pimp at 15 years old took me. I was in Child Protective Services custody in Riverside County, California. My social workers knew. I tried to tell them. I tried to ask for help. They told me he was just my boyfriend, and if I didn't like it, I should break up with him. But it wasn't that easy. I even asked him to move me at one point because he told me that nobody would ever believe me and that if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I'd be his wife. Or he would auction me off to the highest bidder. So I did what I had to do.
Saturday, August 13th, I just did the chat, and I'm breaking out in hives, and the pain is so bad, my hips are just getting tighter and tighter. I need to just go get in water. My teeth hurt, and my arms hurt, I feel like somebody's stabbing me. I tried to take a bath, and I've taken so many Benadryl, it's not working. This man comes to my house. And he jumps the gate, and he's scouting my freaking house, and he leaves a fake delivery note, and he has a bag, and if he was real, his car is right here. He's driving a white car. There was no FedEx. There are no deliveries that we are expecting. This man is looking around my house. Are you kidding me? He jumps the gate. Look at this. You're kidding, right? I'm stepping out of my car with my hands up because I'm not sure. I'm just stepping out of my car with my hands up. My grandma's sitting here in the car. We have been pulled over once again. I have already called 911. I just had enough of this. I've had enough. And I just want to make sure if he's pulled us over and he's tailed us for this long, with what reason is unknown, we've slowed down, we've speeded up.
Dude, I was going 55 miles an hour and you were still pacing me.
The speed limit is 70.
I want to make sure you're not
traffic violation. She used her blinkers.
You want to walk me on the test?
Well, I got to do my traffic stop first.
Used her blinkers. She's, oh my goodness.
The Playboy Mansion. The Playboy Mansions. I met some really elite people when I was there. I had to do jobs with some elite celebrities.
A few minutes ago, I had made a reference that I was seeing things that weren't making sense. Like Ali saying that on the 4th of July, she had to serve her country, and that meant she was sold for sex or auctioned. It took me a while to find out that she had military level programming, that she had been trafficked on our military bases. There were so many things that I was trying to wrap my head around at that time. I was looking for help for her. I took her to the church. The church wasn't able to help her. They wanted to cast out demons. They didn't know about DID. They didn't know about MK Ultra. They didn't know about any of those things, and they didn't know any of the altars. They just wanted to cast out demons. That didn't set right with me. That wasn't right. You've met some of the altars. Yes, demonic stuff plays a part in MK Ultra. It's like an unholy alliance. They've merged the MK Ultra and the satanic ritual abuse and the occult and demons into the programming. But the altars are not demons. They cannot be cast out. So why would I take her to the church when they didn't understand the whole picture? I took her to psychiatrists or psychologists. She was either out of the scope of their practice, or their choices were to integrate the altars. That didn't set right with me either. Knowing what I know now about the field of psychology, it's very corrupt. If you look at the founding fathers of psychology, Skinner and Erickson and Freud, they were doing MK Ultra programming. They were doing human experiments on children. They were very evil. The bulk of psychology, the field of psychology, is to catch and watch out for any MK Ultra survivors that might be having their programming break and might be trying to speak out. It's to catch them and reset them, to reprogram them. So none of that set right with me. I have individual relationship with each of Allie's altars, just as you would if you had 3 kids. You have an individual relationship with each one of those 3 children. The thought of trying to integrate them back together wouldn't set right with you, and it didn't set right with me. They wanted to do hypnosis on Allie. I did take her just out of desperation to one psychologist who knew about altars. that kind of won me over right away, because I was the first person I was able to find. I was calling around and looking around as far away as 5 and 6 states over from where we were at. I was willing to drive her. I was willing to take her anywhere if there was somebody that could offer her some help. So this was the only person that I was able to find that understood altars, and he had a hypnotic solution. He would kind of put them in a hypnotic trance. He would try to get them to hypnotically process the pain and the trauma out. The theory was somewhat sound, but it was all I had at the time, so she went there a few times. He didn't know about MK Ultra, or he didn't know how to deal with MK Ultra. So when he put her in a hypnotic trance and woke her up, we went home. It was a Friday. It was after hours, and she was stuck in that trance for the entire weekend till I could get a hold of him to snap her out of that. He said she was out of the scope of his practice. He knew somebody that did deprogramming, but he said it was very painful, and that she would have to go stay somewhere separate from me, and that was not okay. So we declined that. It boiled down to if there was going to be any help for her, I had to figure out what it was we were doing and just deal with it. I used my knowledge from school. I used my knowledge that I got from my aunt about her DID, about her altars, and I was just a mom, and that's all I had. There's not a lot of help out there. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's telling the truth about it. There are some survivors that are coming out, and they're saying they're survivors, but they're not acknowledging their DID. They're not acknowledging the altars. They're not acknowledging the MK Ultra. Everybody's glossing over it. Everybody's setting up camp at the sex trafficking, and I think that's a distraction to keep you from looking further, because when you see how far and deep this goes, you'll never be the same. For integration, the concept is, okay, so if you are raised in a normal home, and you don't have any trauma, but you do get in a car accident, and that's traumatic, and you are fearful, maybe even in pain. When I was talking earlier about that uncontrollable shaking just from the shock of it, that's enough to split somebody. You will split off from your core personality. The problem with MK Ultra is that they have been splitting the kids with the human experiments and the child experiments. They've been splitting them as infants. When you look at Allie's CPS reports, they start at 3 months old for sexual abuse. If you know anything about psychology or human development, you know that a child's personality doesn't start developing till later. So when they're starting to split the kids as infants, they've not had time to develop their personality. So these people that are teaching, to reintegrate the alters together, there's no core personality there. So they're creating a mess. One of the other options is the EMDR, that tapping, tracking, trying to get your mind to kind of come out of the groove of trauma. Those things are all triggers for MK Ultra. So if you're a survivor, please be very careful. I know there's a lot of people that want to do deliverance for survivors. I know there's a lot of people that want to integrate survivors, do hypnosis, cast demons out. Please be very careful, because not everybody has your best interest at heart. There are very many people that are placed to keep you silent, to keep you in turmoil, to keep your programming intact. So please be careful. Be discerning. Survivors are the most brilliant, kindest people I know. If I had to face a gun battle, if I had to go to war, if I needed somebody to stand in my corner, I would take a MK Ultra survivor any day of the week. They're kind, they're caring, they're discerning, they're hyper-vigilant. There's a lot of movies that have been out about survivors, Split, and Manchurian Candidate, things like that. They kind of portray them as scary, as monsters, as murderers. That's usually not the case. That can be the case, but that's nothing I would be fearful of.
thanks, guys. There it is. So there are more bits and pieces in addition to what we showed yesterday that maybe Thursday, let's see what's happening. We'll do our normal show tomorrow.
Yep.
And maybe Thursday, let's see what's happening. We might do another one of the shorter ones that's gone up, another couple of those. And then whatever we don't get to this week, we'll put it out next week. Try and get the series, get the whole lot of it all together in a collection here, if we can, just to have a YouTube place to share them out. They've had issues with their YouTube, which is what makes me suspect maybe not. But while it's out there, while we can keep this going, yeah, let's get it shared. Let's get people aware of it. You know, they need to know.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, thanks for joining us, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Much love, and thank you for having the strength to watch it through with us and pass it around.
Yeah, it's not an easy subject to think about, talk about, to even imagine. It's really not. Some of the little clips that she showed there.
Sorry.
Oh, that was you. Some of the clips that were shown there, I've seen independently along with others. Now, if we do get away with keeping these live and we don't have issues with strikes and bans, then as we go along in the next, week or 2 weeks, I'll put some of them together and bring them out and do, little 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour videos, just to put it all together so that there's somewhere it's all collated. I've got a heap of stuff in various places stashed left, right, and center. I've got stuff that I've seen that I can't get back, that's been scrubbed already. Even the Wayback Machine can't find some of this stuff. So, and that says a lot. That's some pretty smart people behind it. Yeah. So if we can keep these up and alive and shared out, then absolutely, I've got no dramas at all in putting this together and putting it out there. There's
And
no talk anymore.
Don't forget, even if we do lose, what we put out here on YouTube, we have Odyssey as well, and you can find everything there. It may not be out directly. The lives will go out at the same time we do here, and everything will be uploaded as we get the opportunity to do so.
Yep. And I also have another backup account over on a site called Anchor, which is primarily a podcasting site. Crypto Rick put me onto that. But the uploads there are super quick, and you can upload video episodes at the moment. So I'm in the process of backdating all of our stuff over there as well. So, Andrew, bless you. Thank you. We appreciate your support, my friend. We really do.
Love all of you guys so much.
We do. All of you guys. Thanks for sitting through this with us. And yeah, Mad, well, not today. I've had an absolute shit show of a day. Yeah, Mad, exactly. Yeah. We'll have a yak a couple of days later this week sometime, maybe. Tomorrow with our show, I'm not going to have a chance. Maybe Thursday we'll have a chat and, yeah, see what we can put together. As we all know, I'm a complete novice at this crap. I only learnt today how to share a video out without having to import it and screen it and reshare it and da-da-da. I only figured that out this morning, so I'm feeling quite chuffed about that.
You're doing better than me, sweetheart.
So, yeah, we'll see how we go there. We'll have a chat later in the week. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we're going to go out on a normal song, and we'll see you all tomorrow for another last bullshit episode over on the main channel. And let's see what fun and frivolity we can dig up. We've got a stack sitting there. We could do like 6 hours without taking a breath. So we just have to be a bit choosy as to what we pick this time. Or, as what usually happens, about 10 o'clock, something's going to come up and we're going to go, oh, yeah,
through everything else.
Oh, there we go. And everything else goes by the wayside. But we'll see you all tomorrow over on Last Bullshit channel.
Yeah. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the soup. Cass, when you're ready, sweetheart.
She done. Let's go.
You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different, man? You must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it because it's what I wanna fucking do. Because all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Because you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it, and maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they're giving them, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds. Talking out loud so proud, you better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south. Never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Really fucking fight back.
Just opened on yesterday to show what we could have used to do other videos. One of our crew ended up doing a live stream directly after, so we had somewhere to listen to music, chill, have some fun, shit wind down, which is really good actually.